All right, let's get started. My name is Karan Sandhi. I'm the CTO for Trellix's public sector business. Today, we're going to be talking about election security. My colleague Craig Bowman, who leads our SLED and GHE business, is joining us here today. Hey, Craig.
Hey, Karan. It's good to talk to you again.
Likewise.
This is kind of a timely discussion because this is now the second city I visited in 2 weeks, helping with different things that are going on and some of them related to security of elections.
All right, let's jump into a specific example here and get this conversation started. Our recent Advanced Research Center study showed that APT-based detections have actually increased 17% over just the past 6 months. And that's over, 50% increase from the same period last year, which means that attacks are increasing globally and getting more and more sophisticated. One example of this is actually what happened in Taiwan. They saw obviously in that region, there's some sophisticated actors in Asia that have been attacking Taiwan's election systems and going after some of the data there. But what's more important is the parallel between the Taiwan election and what's happening here in the US. One of our most recent research data showed that 11 million malicious activities were detected against US government organization in a single day. That's 55 times, the daily average. What are
Wow.
you seeing in the ground there, Craig, from your perspective?
Karan, those numbers obviously are concerning, but they're not surprising. I've been working closely with several states. I just mentioned I'm on the road right now. We just saw a DDoS attack against a state. Now, we can't attribute it directly to Board of Elections, but it's coming at a time where that is a suspect attack against a state which is dealing with elections. But we're also seeing some really remarkable initiatives. One of our Midwestern state partners have taken a particularly proactive approach by making our comprehensive security solutions available to all their counties free of charge. I mean, that's very proactive. And I think this is crucial because many of those counties simply lack the sufficient resources to monitor their networks and their systems effectively, and especially continuously through the elections.
Very interesting. What are you seeing in terms of specific success stories? Are there any specific states that are getting it right, or any examples that you want to share?
Sure. I mean, Colorado has been a standout example. They've implemented, I guess, their risk limiting audits, and they're using air gap systems for their voter registration databases. So that would be a perfect. Michigan actually has done excellent work as well. They kind of interesting. They implemented a blockchain technology for the result verification portion, and they create a cybersecurity task force around it. But I think what particularly innovative is how kind of our Midwestern state partners are helping smaller counties bridge their security gaps with partnership with Trellix. So I think that's kind of interesting.
Cool, cool. From a technical standpoint, I'm particularly interested in how states are implementing comprehensive security solutions. What specific technologies are showing the most impact?
The better prepared states are implementing zero trust architectures and advanced security tools to detect APT threats. I think that's probably the area that they're using. I mean, a lot of them are using Trellix endpoint security to detect anomalies. They're using network security for complex threat detection and email security to guard against phishing attempts. I think that the key, regardless, is integration. And anytime that you have systems working together, you're going to get better outcomes. And so a lot of our customers do that through our Helix Connect platform. So I think that's probably the innovation and what I think they're looking for if I had to just shoot it out there.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, single pane of glass, being able to do detections on data from across their environment definitely makes a big impact. Let's stay on that topic a little bit. Um, we've
Sure.
seen from our case studies that election threats can occur at any time, not just on election day. How are states protecting against those ongoing threats using the technologies that you're aware of?
Well, I think that's where comprehensive security comes in. Um, we've seen cases where states are vulnerable due to outdated Windows systems or just network configuration segmentation issues. I think the more sophisticated states are implementing multi-layered defense strategies. So, I mean, for instance, our Midwestern state partner has implemented real-time monitoring and incident response through our partnership with Google Mandiant. And with our technology and their 24/7 protection, that's a different layer of protection to ensure that elections aren't disrupted.
Cool. What about smaller counties with limited budgets? Not everybody has the cash to buy some of these tools. How are they implementing these advanced security measures?
Yeah, so I mentioned a little bit earlier, but that's where some creative solutions come in. Some states have implemented shared service models where smaller counties can leverage state level security resources. In fact, the state I'm in right now, we just had that conversation. He asked me, how can we roll this out to some of the counties that can't afford it? And we were brainstorming some new ideas with this state. So Minnesota has a great program providing security tools and expertise to counties that simply couldn't afford it otherwise. They're using kind of containerization and microservices architecture to make it more manageable. But Minnesota is a great example.
Awesome, awesome. One of the things that stood out in our recent case study was a concern about potential internal and external interference with election systems, something you and I have talked about a lot of. How are you
Yeah,
addressing,
no.
how are we as a company addressing this, or how are the states addressing this?
Yeah, dude, that's crucial. Uh, we're implementing comprehensive DLP. Sorry, I always use acronyms. Data loss prevention solutions to protect sensitive election data. So this includes protecting against unauthorized data transfers, doesn't matter where, and implementing advanced XDR solutions for centralized analysis of all the security events that are firing in the environment. So, in our partner states, the county election boards are using Trellix Threat Intelligence Exchange to bring knowledge. I mean, think about it. Trellix has 37 years of doing this since McAfee and FireEye and Mandiant. And so all of those 37 years of threat intelligence gives them insights from real-time global sources that nobody else has in the market. And so that's how they're able to see these things that we've been seeing for 37 years, every variation of it.
Yeah,
And so that's, I think,
that's a lot of data. That's a lot of data and a lot of
a
insight.
lot of data. It is a lot of data.
So that's interesting. Well, let's maybe shift topics here a little bit. Looking at the election as a holistic topic here, what technical challenges do you think you worry about the most, since you've been out in the field and you see a lot of these data points?
Yeah, that's a good question, Karan. I think supply chain attacks are a major concern. We've seen some pretty sophisticated attempts to compromise election systems across the supply chain. And what really worries me is the evolution of these polymorphic malware targeting election infrastructure. It's not, it's not about the perimeter defense anymore. It's about having this comprehensive security observation across the entire technology stack, east, west, endpoints, cloud, on-prem, obviously border, right? And I think that's the supply chain of our election infrastructure is, I think, what worries me.
Interesting. Well, let's dive a little bit deeper. Layered security approach is extremely important for a lot of our customer, and we're seeing great results from people who are using EDR solutions and other approaches. Any thoughts around that?
Well, I think I'm pushing states to adopt a defense in depth strategy. So not just providing the technology, we're offering incident response capabilities. We're implementing comprehensive threat intelligence exchange systems. We're providing professional services to help with deployment, configuration, fine tuning. Karan, I was just called last week. There was a hack against a system. I spun up a team inside Trellix, 19 people within an hour on our incident response team, extended team, professional services team in a chat room. Within an hour, we were on the phone with the customer. We manually helped them configure their environment. And within 4 hours, we had a system that could thwart the attack that was happening. So those are the kinds of things that, having that relationship and that in-depth strategy with a partner allows us to respond quickly when things like this happen.
Yeah, so you raise a good point, right? This is more about than just deploying a piece of technology. It's a partnership with the customer to understand their environment, for them to be able to reach out to someone when they're in a moment of crisis, and being a partner in their business or in their mission. In this case, for the election board and other states that are trying to get this done right and securely, they want to have someone who they can lean on and kind of trust to kind of help facilitate things. So this is a great example. I appreciate you sharing that.
No worries.
Any final thoughts? I mean, these were great stories that you shared. Before we part, because it looks like you're on the road and you need to be on a plane here soon. Any final
I
thoughts
do.
before we wrap?
No, I think the key message for everybody listening is, and I think I've done it in the conversation, is that election security isn't just about election day. This is about maintaining continuous vigilance. And we've seen from some of our partners, and specifically I call out a couple of Midwestern state partners, where the county election systems are secure. Our election is secure. The entire state system is secure. States need partners that can help them and stay ahead of what's coming at them, because we're talking nation state actors trying to disrupt our democracy. And I think the more that we can provide flexibility to work within those existing security solutions so that it becomes turnkey, I think that's gonna win the day and make sure that our elections stay secure.
Awesome. Thank you. Those were super insightful. I appreciate your time, Craig. Until next time, looking forward to talking to you again.
See you, Karan. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Craig.